He was with me a week or so ago, and we had a little technical problem, so I've invited him back, and he's here with me, Roger Strong. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate it.
Well, I tell you, I wasn't sure I was going to make it this morning. I ate too much turkey. I ate too much pumpkin pie. I ate too much, too much of everything. And did you have fun on Thanksgiving?
Well, I'm just confused over what you're saying. I don't understand too much turkey and too much pumpkin pie. I don't think there is such a thing.
Never enough.
Never enough.
That's
there you
it.
go.
That's it. Well, if you can see what I have in front of me, and of course the radio audience can't, but the whole table is covered in tidbits. Now that sounds like it might be something to eat, but it's not. It's a newspaper. It is a fun Utah County newspaper that we discovered several weeks ago. And Roger Strong is the, would I say, editor, manager, publisher?
Yeah,
okay, publisher. And sells the ads and writes the columns and does the whole thing. Actually, I told a neighbor that you might be interested in her article about the original Constitution, so she's going to put something together for you. So I hope that can run one day.
I'd be interested in that.
She'd like to do a whole series for you.
I listened to the show that you and her
did. You?
It was very interesting.
Well, she's very bright, and she's spent a lot of time now, some years, studying this subject and trying to figure out what to do that we can get the Constitution back to something more original than. I didn't realize that every time a president puts his hand on a Bible and pledges to keep the Constitution sacred and blah, 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 it's an entirely different Constitution than the president before him had for the United States. So, okay, now we're all waking up. Maybe everybody else has, and finally I am. But anyway, let's talk about this newspaper, because that's why Roger is with us today. He's going to tell us how he came about starting this little paper for this county. And we've had, as you know, several papers in the Utah County. I worked with the Utah County Journal for some years. Good folks, the Oldham family. Was it Oldham? Did I say that right? Family. And appreciated the little paper, but it went away. And then several others have gone away. So we were ready for a little paper.
That's right.
That's full of fun. It doesn't have any death or mayhem in it anywhere.
No, we tell people that. No death, divorce, devastation, or destruction is good news for good people. That's why we call ourselves a happy paper for Happy Valley.
I love that. And then I'm going to have you go over some of this in the back. Just actually read, give us some information, because in the back, on the very back, and has it got more pages this time? What are we up to?
We've got 8 pages.
8 pages. Can you grow bigger if you grow bigger?
Oh, yeah. We definitely have big plans.
Oh, good. Okay. And he's going to tell you about everything in it. But on the very back, it's got updates for I-15. And I thought this was really neat, because I told somebody the other day they could not get off at the Center Street off-ramp in Provo, and the fact is that the ramps were open.
Well,
and
but they just barely opened them this last week. Yeah.
Right, and I didn't know that. I didn't have your paper. If I'd had your paper, I could have found that out. But the very best thing in his paper, again this week, is, okay, where is it? As you open the inside page, there's a picture of me and an ad that he's given us for KHQN Radio, 1480 AM. And for UtahValleyLive.com, pat.UtahValleyLive.com. And then he's got all these neat articles. So let's back me up a little bit before we get all the way into this. And I want your life history since day one almost.
You don't want to know my life history. There's parts of it I'm still trying to keep secret. So.
I doubt that. Anybody that's willing to jump into a newspaper probably is very transparent. So,
well, this is not where I should be by training. By training, I'm a engineer. I worked with
there's a good segue. Engineered a newspaper.
Yep.
Okay, it must be a leap there somewhere.
Worked here in the valley for a company that maybe some of the listeners here in Utah Valley you'll recognize, Signetics.
Sure.
And when they closed down, I went off to Arizona. And while I was in Arizona, my wife and I traveled around Arizona and around the Intermountain West. And we kept running across this little paper called Tidbits. And we'd pick it up and read it, and we enjoyed it. Well, after I retired from the semiconductor industry and was off doing, again, some traveling, my wife and I were over in Colorado, and we were at a little, just a breakfast restaurant, and we'd both picked up a copy of it, and she was doing the crossword, and I was reading the paper. And as we did that, I asked her, I says, have you ever seen Tidbits in Utah? And her answer was no. And I says, well, I think we ought to look into it. Well, a week later, we had bought the license for Utah County, and we're beginning to figure out how to publish it here.
I think that's great. Well, I want to talk about how this paper is set up, because you have some things that you get every time when you get the paper. I mean, it's in every edition, regardless of what state you're in or what county you're in. And then you have built local things around it. You built local ads and articles around it. Is that right?
That's what we've tried to do.
Okay.
The Tidbits itself is a nationwide newspaper, and in 2009 it expanded into Canada. It is in over 250 counties here in the United States. So we're just one of those. They publish over 5,000 issues every week. So it's a fairly large concern. Not yet here in Utah County, but like I said earlier, we have hopes.
It's growing.
So what they do, well, maybe just a little bit of a description of Tidbits.
Okay.
What makes us
hang on just a minute. Kelly,
Sure.
Can you put up on the monitor so I can tell when I'm holding the paper up if the camera's seeing it or what I'm doing? I would appreciate that. We have a new board operator, and she's keeping us on the internet this morning. So
That's good. That's good.
But I can't see it on the monitor. That's what I asked, if you could put a picture up there for me. I'd appreciate it. Okay, let's talk about it.
The newspaper kind of sits in that middle ground between the little weekly advertising papers that are just full of classifieds, and we have several of those around the county, and the more classic, what you would consider to be a newspaper, that's filled with what I very unkindly call death, divorce, devastation, and destruction.
That was really the first time I read it. That was the fun thing. It had interesting information, update on the freeways, which was really good to know, because in Utah County we have a new state flower called orange cones, and they are everywhere. I mean, every street is being worked on somewhere, and the freeway is a total nightmare. And so it's good to have that. And I appreciated that I didn't have to read about all the mayhem that was going on across the world in this paper. Now I can go on the internet and I can get that. I can turn on the news and I can get it. But it was fun to pick up a local paper and just laugh and have fun with it. Crossword puzzles and fun things. So what are your plans for it? That's really what I want to hear.
Well, right now we are trying to grow the number of places that we distribute at. We distribute any place that has a waiting room. So it's in restaurants, it's in doctors, lawyers' offices, dentists' offices, just anywhere there's a waiting room, any place that people have to go and sit and wait for a little while.
But now don't miss the market people, because we're used to going in and picking up a copy of something right by the door.
Sure,
so is that coming?
And that's exactly what we're trying to do, is to have these at any place that you would walk into, and you'd be needing to pass a little time, and you're got to give your thumbs a rest from your electronic device, and so you think, well, I'll read a classic newspaper.
Let's give them a phone number, because if you have a company or a business of some type, any kind of a firm where you've got people coming and going, would like to have some copies of this, is that possible for them to get that?
Absolutely.
Let's get out your phone number.
People have if they have an interest in having our paper, and let me just mention real quick that the reason for having the paper is our readers get hooked on the various things that we have in the paper. And so then they start going and frequenting places so that they can pick up a copy of it.
Oh, that's nice.
So we have
works.
an advantage that actually draws traffic into your business. If you would like to have us in your business, have some papers there and have them available for your clients, if you just give us a call at area code 801-616-6288. Let me do that again so you have a chance to write it down. It's 801-616-6288.
Now, do you have an email or website they can go to also?
We do. It's real. I hope it's real simple. It's my first name, Roger, R-O-G-E-R, and then it's at, and then we use a little phrase we're hoping that everybody's going to be saying here in the near future is, I love my tidbits.
I love my tidbits.
.com.
.com. Love it. That's great. Roger at ilovemytidbits.com. Okay, let's go kind of article to article and work our way down back to the back page, because then I want you to just kind of read what you've done with I-15 out there. So it starts with November babies.
There's a different article each time. It starts right there in the center of the paper, and it's filling up with what we call tidbits, which is just interesting morsels of information that you might find interesting in a conversation, or something to talk about with someone, or who knows, maybe someday you'll be on Jeopardy and you'll have some of the answers because you found them here in tidbits.
Good.
This last week's article was on chestnuts. Told all about them, where they come from, how they've developed into a popular food.
That was good.
It was. This week is on November babies. It's people who were born in November, and well, all right.
Tomorrow's my birthday.
Happy birthday to you, Pat.
Thank you.
39 again.
39 again.
There you go.
Only several times now.
So
what about November babies? Of course, I have to know this.
Oh, well, some of the things that they've got in here is, it starts right off, says probably best known for a role as Dr. Izzy Stevens on the ABC medical drama Grey's Anatomy. Actress Katherine Hagel got her start as a child model posing for the Sears catalog. And then it goes on and gives you some more information about her.
Read some more. I would read it, but I don't have my glasses with me. So I kind of do Braille like this.
The next one, it says the parents of Condoleezza Rice took her name from an Italian music term, Condoleezza, which translates with sweetness. So there's
nice
some information there. And again, they give interesting facts that you're not going to find in the Murder and Mayhem news. It's going to be just fun stuff to know. The article continues on inside. So what we like about it is that if you pick up a classified paper, it doesn't take very long to get tired of reading those classifieds. So what we do is we provide interesting content like this. People read it. We publish on bright white paper. Everything is in full color, so that as you're reading through there, you'll see an ad that'll catch your eye, and you'll think, wow, that might be kind of interesting. Here at the bottom of the first page, November Babies, we've got the State Street Grill. Out at 656 North, 2000 West in Pleasant Grove. They're right on the border between Pleasant Grove and American Fork. They got just a beautiful little place. It sits in there. Looks like an old service station.
I know where that is. Yeah. Okay.
In fact, they just recently took the fake gas pumps out because they had people pulling up to the gas pumps to get gas.
That's right.
So they've taken that out.
On your VCS carpet?
Yes.
He came on the air with me.
He
Did you know that?
I listened to that show.
Yeah.
I had a great time.
I learned more about carpets than I ever could have imagined. We talked for a solid hour, and I knew about nylon. I did that, but I certainly didn't know I was walking on plastic.
Yeah.
I don't, who knew? Or glass.
Sure.
And how to clean them and not to clean them so often. And there were just so many things. It was really interesting. And he spilled Kool-Aid all over, a rug here on the air, and we cleaned it right up by just using water. And I think of all the soap I've used and destroyed more carpets than you could know. And I thought, he made it seem so simple. And besides that, he loved what he was doing.
He does. That's the thing that's impressed me most about Matt is just his enthusiasm for what he's doing.
Great guy. Ashdown, right? Matt Ashdown. Yeah.
And not only is it carpets, but as you talked about on the show with him, he cleans everything. I mean, he said he wouldn't do windows, but I think that was about the only thing. So, yeah.
But who knew that he cleaned all kinds of tile and then the cement on garage floors are just a mess all the time, and patios.
Yes.
All kinds of things. I remember years ago in California that we had slate. People had slate down. It made them crazy. We'd spill potato chips and it just destroyed them. Well, he said he could get grease up, so that would be wonderful.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He does a fantastic job.
So
he loves a challenge. So if there's anybody out there that's got that spot that they have to rearrange their furniture
VCS, let's
around.
give a phone number just for fun.
VCS, it's Matt Ashdown, and his number is 801-226-6827. He's got a special running here in the paper. If you buy through 3 rooms, you'll get the 4th room free, and you get to define what's a room.
Yep. Could be stairs or a hallway or
yep.
a combination of all of that. Yeah, he's got a really good price going right now, and great guy to visit with. So he's going to come back on with us, I think, sometime this month.
Oh, good.
And then there's some other folks in here, and as I said, there we are with the radio and stuff on the very next page. But let's talk about, you go on with your tidbits up there about November babies. So some more, tell us some more up there. I actually can read this. I just thought you had a better voice.
As we turn inside, we see that Bo Jackson achieved fame as the first athlete to be named an all-star in 2 major sports, baseball and football. I remember when that happened, and it was such an amazing event that somebody
nobody
was
could
good
believe,
enough to do both. Yeah.
Then Goldie Hawn, what has she done now?
Has a distinguished ancestor. The Declaration.
Interesting. Where did you get this stuff? Who finds this? Somebody that does research.
Yeah, a lot of this comes through our Tidbits National Organization from a company called King Syndicate.
Okay.
They do a lot of the old shows that you see on TV and
Right,
a lot of these types of articles. So any of the content that is not local, we actually pick up from them. And,
now, trivia test on the side. What is this? Music. Who had a hit single, 1972, with a song called "First Time Ever I Saw You"? Oh, that was. Wasn't Tony Bennett? It was. Who was it? Anybody know?
What we do is we turn over
where are the answers?
on the back page. You always go to the back
Who was
page
it?
to find the answers.
Who was it?
And I know it as soon as I read it, but I couldn't have told you it was Roberta Flack.
Oh, and I love her. How
Yes.
could I not know that? I thought she was so amazing. Wonderful. Oh, that's fun. So they've got little things, but they give you the answers too.
Sure. So you can test yourself and see how well you do, and then,
Okay, and
go
what
back,
is this
rate
other
yourself.
one by Anne? Now here's a tip. During the holidays, and go from there.
During the holidays, our schedule changes so much that it's hard to keep track. I used to write and rewrite our family calendar, but now I just make a grid for the days and weeks, and I use Post-it notes, standard parties, school obligations, and anything that's a maybe. It's much easier to move around and add or delete events as needed. So this is a reader who wrote into Joanne Durson with her article. Now here's a tip, and it's reader recommendations about things that made their lives easier, and they want to share with people.
Okay, here's another one. Fasten all buttons, snaps, fasteners, and zippers on your what? On your clothes before washing and drying. Oh, to close them, snap them closed. It will help them keep their shape. Oh, that's interesting. Turn socks inside out, too. It will help prevent them from getting fuzz balls. Well, I want to know what happens to one. I have moved from many homes, and I'm still missing a set, the one sock to 25 socks somewhere in my washing machine. It exists. I know one day somebody's going to get that old washing machine, and I'll be there.
I liked your suggestion. I turn my socks inside out for a different reason. Seems like if you toss your socks in to have them washed, right, there's always going to be one missing, like you mentioned.
That's it.
Okay?
That's it.
And all the rest of them are going to be inside out. So as you're folding them, now you have to turn them all the right side. So I turn them inside out and throw them in, and
Oh, how clever!
It never works that they're going to be right side out. I don't know how
these
the
are nice
washer
little,
knows, but
these are nice little tidbits and things going on. Then you've got I don't remember seeing this banner, but you've got a big banner down here.
Yeah, this is telling a little bit about
the Happy
tidbits.
Paper for Happy Valley. I thought you were kidding, but there it is. Okay, highlight your business at a minimum cost to you. Full Utah coverage, weekly issue. And do you not have to have a subscription for this? It's just free?
It is. We are, because we're part of the Free Paper Association, we're not allowed to charge, which is what subscriptions are. So what we do is we try and make them readily available all over the community. I had a fellow call in the other day, and he goes, hey, he says, I found your tidbits. I just loved it. He says, but my wife and I are looking for it up here in Pleasant Grove. And he says, I can't find it. And he says, where can I find it at? And I said, you ever go to eat at Chubby's? And he goes, oh, yeah. He goes, that's a great burger place. I said, well, they're going to have them in there for you. And
so that works.
So, yeah, he says, that's like a block and a half from his house. He says, I can walk down there and get a paper.
Oh, that's great.
So, yeah, he was real excited.
So it's starting to work.
That. It is. It is.
And then snowflakes. I was just looking at this. I'm not even sure what that is. What is that? It's some kind of a puzzle.
There's various puzzles that are in here. We have crosswords, we have Sudoku, and we have this one that's called Snowflakes. And what it does is it has, it's a little hexagonal grid, six-sided grid, and you have to place the numbers in there in such a way that each little hexagon has the numbers 1 through 6 in it. But because they all overlap, you have to be very careful.
Don't even tell me anymore. I don't want to know.
I have people that are hooked on it that are really glad that that's in there. They tell me to keep it because they enjoy playing it.
My son has just written in and said that the socks are all at his house.
There you go.
Okay, then there's a sports quiz, which I thought was kind of interesting when I saw this the first time because you make that fun. And then the November Babies goes on. You've got 3 pages of article here on people that were born in November.
Yes.
Who they are and what's happening to them. And then there's some cartoons, which I thought were a kick. Hey, you got a help wanted. Who are you looking for?
This is a young lady that she's got a real interesting story. You might want to have her on, Callie Wilcox. I think I got her name right.
Okay.
And she, a long time ago, was taking care of family, and you know, you got kids in school, you got you're trying to hold a household together, that sort of thing. And her husband passed away.
Ooh.
And she had just sometime before that heard about this business and was had started working in it. Well, she's now been in it for a substantial length of time.
We're talking about tidbits, newspaper business?
No. She's with a company called Melaleuca.
Oh, I'm familiar with Melaleuca,
okay,
sure.
Yeah. It has
so she's looking for people to come.
And well, she's just done fantastic with it. She's raised her family, put them through college. She was buying a car for one of the kids the other day, or helping them buy one. She's looking to buy one for herself.
Good.
But she's just very, very successful and has done a fantastic job. And so she's at the point where she'd like to help other people and help them to be.
So
able
you
to
run Help Wanted ads.
So we do run Help Wanted ads.
And that doesn't cost anything?
It does.
It costs
but
a little
what we do is one of the benefits that we give is if you advertise in the paper, you get a Help Wanted ad is run free.
Oh,
so
that works.
You know, for people that are hiring all the time, it's worth it to run an ad.
Good. I'm going to run some ads.
I'm
heavy into Cayenne, and I have already won a car. And
Fantastic.
so I'm going to run some ads with you for sure because I am ready to build my business right here in Utah Valley.
Just
okay.
Before we flip off of that page, I wanted to point out one on page 3.
Okay.
It's our little bulletin board that's over on the side. It's just one column right now.
It is, yeah.
But what we do is we talk with various people, and they're looking for a very inexpensive way to advertise. So we take their business card and include it here in the paper. And what that does is they sometimes put an offer on it, like Nemo Aquarium down in Spanish Fork. They give $2 off any $10 purchase with this ad. And we've got, there's a great little place here in the county that if people haven't discovered it, I hope they can discover it. Is down in Payson Main Street. You familiar with that?
Yeah, I love Payson Main Street. I used to go down there to a little department store and buy all my Christmas presents for years, right downtown Payson. Yeah.
And
can you see that?
They're struggling with the economy right now, but there's quite a few little places in there. We have one of them in the paper here, the Fuji House. They're brand new. They only opened up just I think a week and a half ago, and Lee and Ming are the owners there, and just the funnest people in the world, and I'll tell you how nice she is. She treats her business just like it's a community, because 2 doors down from her there's a new place called Boudreaux's Cajun House that's opening up, and I'm excited about that because as far as I know it's the only Cajun place here in the county. And
you're right, I don't know of another one.
Yeah.
If there is, somebody call and tell us.
Well, Lee fixed up a plate full of her appetizers and went over and knocked on the door and went on in and said, "Welcome to the neighborhood, and here's what we have." I thought that was really amazing. So what I want to do is just invite people to go rediscover downtown Payson. They've got there's several restaurants that are in there. There's Sai Savan, which is Thailand. There's Cajun.
All in Payson?
All in Payson.
Who knew?
So, isn't this exciting to have? I mean,
that is fun.
Usually you go up to Salt Lake City and drive around for hours and you can't find a place that you were looking for. And here all you have to do is go down
the road.
Payson and
I know that
walk all 3 of them.
Our radio station, 1480 AM, reaches more from Provo south in South County. And so I thought about that the other day, and I'm glad that you're doing some ads down there. We'll have to get some of those people on the air with us
You
for
bet.
sure.
You know, another one that you want to get on is right there next to the bottom, Trading Talents.
What is that?
It's a couple of ladies that have opened up a little boutique. They're Debbie and Kelly, and what they do is they make beads, jewelry, handmade jewelry from beads
and gifts and decor.
And they sell those. But what they also do is they've opened up the store. And other people who are trying to get started, you're sitting home at the kitchen table, you got a hobby, and you're thinking, well, maybe I can make a living.
They can get a booth. Can they get a booth?
So they go in and they offer their items there. And,
that's great.
It's just a fantastic store to go in and look
Oh,
around.
great place to go. Christmas shopping, I can tell now.
And the good thing about Tidbits is you take our paper in, so y'all need to go looking for it because there's 40% off your first item.
We've got some here. We've got some extra ones here. They're all over the table right now. Now, it seems to me Brad's Barbershop has been down there for a while.
It has.
Yeah,
I just met Brad about a month and a half ago, but fantastic guy. For those of you that are on the streaming video, this is the kind of haircut that
it looks very good.
Job.
Roger Strong that I'm speaking with here this morning has very white hair and it's just beautiful, and he's the perfect person for Santa Claus. I don't know if you have a Santa Claus suit, but if you don't, you should.
I haven't done that yet.
He has the right physique. Did I say that nicely?
That was very nice.
And he has the right beard. And the whole works, and it's all white. You should be a Santa Claus for sure. Well, I'm just looking here at the end of this one article in November Babies, and it does list some of them. Carolyn Kennedy, Jon Stewart, Howie Mandel, Ben Stiller, Bette Midler, Britney Spears, and Ozzy Osbourne. Well, I don't know if I want to be with all those people in November. I have to give that
if
some
I would have known,
seriousness.
your name would be in there.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. Oh, well, that's fun. And then so barbecue. Okay, now down at the bottom, I haven't read this little article. I had looked at it a couple of times in the other issues you brought, but it's called Strange But True.
That one is, there used to be a very popular one, Stranger Than Fiction.
Yes.
I
that was a
remember.
radio show. That was a...
Maybe I don't quite have the name of it.
You're not old enough yet.
Oh, maybe that's it. Who knows?
Hurry up and get older.
I'm still working on it. But this is along those lines. It's just kind of unique things. Here's an example. It was 18th century German scientist George Christoph Lichtenberg who made the following sage observation. Everyone is a genius at least once a year. The real geniuses simply have their bright ideas closer together.
That's it. That's good. So these are just little bits of information. Battle Hymn of the Republic. Okay.
Popularly known by a line from the chorus, Glory, Glory, Hallelujah, was written by Julia Ward Howe in November of 1861 after the author made a trip to Washington, D.C. and reviewed Union troops near the city. Song was published the following February in the Atlantic Monthly magazine, earning Howe a grand total of $4 for what was destined to become one of the most popular songs of the Civil War and a perennial American classic.
It's true. That's great information. On the radio, of course you can't see this, but it's a very nice sized newspaper. It can fold up and fold again and actually can fit in your purse or your briefcase. And it really, for folks out in the county, you can find this anywhere there are groups of people. And if you would like to have it in your facility or near you, let us know. And the phone number you call is, Roger has it right here.
801-616-6288.
And the paper is published once a week.
It comes out every week, comes out on Monday morning. We have a little bit of difficulty running all over the county delivering it, so some of the places don't show up.
And then coming in here on top of it, which we really appreciate you coming in on Monday.
Don't show up until Tuesday or Wednesday, but they show up at the same time every week. So every site gets a full week exposure, and that's one of the things that's nice about the paper. Yes, it's a weekly paper, but a regular newspaper, if you sit down on a park bench and there's a newspaper there, you pick it up and it's 2 days old, you can toss it back down. That's old news you're not interested in. But the information is, as we've been pointing out here,
Yeah.
it is interesting. It's always interesting.
It is.
So
I
you get
just
7
love it.
days of coverage, even though it's a weekly paper.
Now, I had mentioned that my friend Pam Openshaw is going to be submitting an article about the original Constitution and some other things related to that. So can I open that up and say if you have an article or something you're interested in, by all means call and ask. And let's give the phone number again. At least they can call and ask.
Sure. The number is 801-616-6288. And I would entertain submissions on that. Right now, the paper is still small enough that what we are provided more than fills up the paper. But we went out and sampled the community after we'd been publishing for a while and asked them what did they want. And the readers were just incredibly happy with the paper. The people who had them in their sites or in their stores were very happy with them. We come around each week. We take the extra ones away and recycle them, and we adjust the amounts so they don't have an excess or too few. I think we do a good job of being a guest in
13 of them
the
walked right
stores.
out of here last week. You know, I mean,
Fantastic.
everything you leave us walks out the door. So I'm really tickled about that. And I think that you've got a going thing here. How long have you been around in this county?
We started publishing a year ago. We took a couple of months off in the springtime where we stopped and reevaluated what we were doing and made sure it was the right thing. And as a result of going and doing that evaluation, we did change the paper slightly. There were 2 things that were all that people asked for. One of them was they said we want coupons. And,
in this county, you've got to have coupons.
That's right.
Utah County is the capital of coupons, coupons, coupons.
So we are now stressing more from our advertisers that if they can include a coupon, that it helps. That's what people are looking for. And we'll talk about it a little bit later, but the second thing is to have just some local content. There used to be about 9 small community papers here in the valley, and they've almost all gone.
I think they've all gone.
Well, the Timpanogos News, I believe it either closed up or it changed how often it publishes. I'm not sure which. The story I heard was that it had closed up. And that was the last one that I was aware of, except for the Payson Chronicle. It's still open, and there's another newspaper, the Springville Independent, that just started up this
Well, of course,
spring.
we have the Daily Herald, but
So,
that wouldn't be considered a small community paper.
No,
'cause they're
that's that. I mean, that
28,000
that covers a good section of the state,
Yeah, it does.
and is really the standard newspaper for this area.
Let me ask about this. Is up in this corner here, I'm looking at lots and lots of different places. It's small acts lead to big things. Service is the key. Now, what have you done up here? Because these look like they're all small coupons, and they've got junk in your trunk and tailor-made and lucky something. I can't read that. Take a break, the spa, and so what is this?
What this is up at the top. You'll see an ad there from a fellow who's working with me. His name is Chris Baird, and he's an interesting fellow. You might want to have him on the show too.
Okay, tell me who Chris is.
Chris was working
B-A-R-I-D?
B-A-I-R-D, that's it.
B-A-I-R-D.
He was working as a postal employee, and he had some time on his hands, and he was sitting with a little 8.5 11 by 11 piece of white paper, and he was asking himself, what could I do with this that might give me another source of income? And so he folded it around and looked at it, and he ended up with a little trifold paper, and he went around and started with a lot of these people that you see there in the coupon section of the paper. He went to them and said, hey, if you'll buy a coupon in here, what I'll do is I'll take them around, we'll put them in all the stores of all the people that buy them, and we'll get you some advertising going. And he was starting to be pretty successful at that. He gave them to a friend of mine, Nate Moore, down at the Provo Car Doctor. And Nate said, hey, Roger, you need to meet Chris. So he got Chris and I together, and I looked at what he was doing, and I said, wow. I says, how many of these are you putting out? And he says, well, I'm putting out about 1,000. I said, well, how would you like to have like 6,000 readers and do it every week? You know,
so that's what this is.
24,000. And so what we've done is we adapted his concept. We put it here in the newspaper. And like you were talking about, we have some great advertisers right down the road. I know one of your advertisers is Two Jack's Pizza, and they've got a coupon in here. The Lucky's that you were talking about is the snack bar that's included in the Oz entertainment.
Yeah.
And so
Fountain
both of those are in
and
here. Right down the street, just before you go over the overpass
in Provo town,
in South Provo, is a place called Norma Jean's. Have you been to Norma Jean's
You
yet?
know, I haven't, but I've seen this ad now 2 or 3 times, and I thought,
you've got to go.
Did that used to be the old steakhouse out there? Do you remember? Well, of course, you weren't here, so I don't know.
This is
just on the other side of the freeway.
As the steakhouse.
Okay.
Okay. And what this is one time it was a Winger's Diner. You'll see it. It's all stainless steel and gleams bright, sitting there on the east side of the street.
Oh, okay. I was in the wrong place. So
Yep.
this is just as you go over the viaduct going south,
before.
and it's sitting back on a little parking lot there.
Yep.
It's just after you pass what used to be a bed and breakfast house right on the corner.
What I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, got it now. It's on the east side of the street. And no, I haven't been in, but you know what? I will. It says
And right here you got $5 off on
a $20 purchase, right?
$20 purchase, and I have to tell you, there's three reasons for going there. First of all, the owners and the staff. It's just the friendliest place in the world. You go in, you feel like you're coming home when you go there.
Wow.
They specialize in comfort food. It's some of the best food that you've ever eaten.
Is there really a Norma Jean's?
Of course, this is named after Marilyn Monroe's first name was her real name was Norma Jean, and so
right.
it's named after her. And one of the things that you'll see is they have some beautiful pinup photos all over the walls. Okay, and the story behind that is they have local people pose for these, and they're very family friendly photos. We're not talking the kinds of things that would show up in Playboy. We're talking the kinds of things that
family stuff.
The kinds of things that the
Norman
troops
Rockwell
stenciled to the
to the airplanes.
The
they
airplanes
used to have in the
back
boats.
then,
Yeah.
Okay, so and they're fun. They're fun to look at. They have a contest every month. They have people come in.
It's a 50s, 60s motif.
It really
I
is.
remember that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
now I got it.
And I want to tell you that they've just started opening on Sundays. They're open Sundays from 10 to 2. And with that, they've got what they're calling their, here on the front page, their petticoat brunchin'. So as opposed to Petticoat Junction,
right.
Here in Provo, you go to the Petticoat Brunchin'.
Oh,
all the
cute.
waitresses are wearing petticoats. And again, that 50s kind of look to everything. And they've got 20% off a coupon here on...
it's really a brunch
ticket.
lunch,
So,
10 to 2. That's
10 to 2.
So they cut this out and take it with them? Is that the idea?
Sure,
okay.
sure.
This is actually just a fun paper. I need to take a break just for a minute and thank our sponsor, which is Kyani, KYANI.net, if you want to look it up. I've been involved in this company now about 15 months, and the products have changed my life. And I'm getting ready to really expand. In fact, we've now added some space to our studio here, and we're located, of course, just above Alan's camera shop. But we've added some space in the room over here in the corner that they're in the process of painting right now is going to be our Kyani room. And
Great.
so we can work with people all day long, and so we're going to do an ad before you leave. Don't leave without we can do an ad. And but I just had a great testimony from a friend yesterday who's had migraines for years and years and years and years, and she began taking this product, and 3 weeks later, no more migraines.
Oh, that's incredible.
One of the things they found that create the migraine is that really the plaque and everything that happens in our brain and throughout our body, we don't get blood to where it needs to go. And when you don't in your brain, it hurts like heck. And if you get under stress and you've been eating wrong and a whole lot of things are going on in your life, well, turns out Kyani has really, really helped people. And they're not having migraines anymore. My neighbor has been involved in for a few months, and he's had Parkinson's, and he's doing so much better now. So
Wow.
I had diabetes. I'm no longer diabetic. Yay, yay. I took
That's
medication
incredible.
for 14 years for adult onset diabetes, and I don't have diabetes anymore. My numbers are so low. I've not had any medication for high blood pressure. It's normal now after 14 years, and high cholesterol. Ta-da!
That's
And I've got all
incredible.
this
That's
crazy
great.
energy, and I'm going to turn 39 again coming up, and then some tomorrow. So I am, I'm a walking example of what can happen when you take the Kyone products, because they really do work. All my friends are now getting involved with me, and yes, I did earn a car, and so that has been exciting also. So I'll invite you to call. My number is 801-362-9552, 801-362-9552, and give me a call. And next week, I'm going to be in Tidbits. We'll figure out how to do this and get
That's
an
right.
ad in.
They'll look in there and see the number and call them.
And call for sure and get involved. We do training. This is going to be a little training facility for people that want to get involved, so they don't, not just talking to people. It can be a business, you can be a customer, and business is fun, but you can be a customer.
Wow.
And I've lost about 50 pounds taking the product since last year, so come
That's
on and
incredible.
play.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's fun. So thank you for that, folks, and appreciate it. If you're listening to us on KHQN 1480, thanks for being with us, and we've got more to go. Also, if you're on pat.utahvalleylive.com. Also, if you just type in utahvalleylive.com, you can find us that way. Verl Osman and his group are on early in the morning from 9 to 10 o'clock on these same stations and channels. And I understand next week one of the siblings is going to be with him. He's the oldest of the group, and I can't remember which one it is, but one of them is going to be with him, and eventually, Alan.
Alan will be on.
Alan Osman is going to be on with him this week, right? And then he's got Donnie and Marie lined up to come on. That's going to be fun. So try and catch him early in the morning. He's on from 9 to 10 in the morning. And then, of course, I'm on from 10 to 12, and then 12 to 1. And starting from 1 to 2, we have Monica Barber coming on with personalities following my show starting December 1st. So we're finally getting there, and we're going to do some trades with the Daily Herald, I think, and get some help there.
That's great.
To let people know what we're doing and where we are. And if you've always dreamed to be on the radio, and I'm trying to talk him into doing his own show because he's got a radio voice, this Roger Strong sitting next to me here. But if you've always had a hankering to be on the radio and now to be on camera also, by all means, let me know. 801-362-9552. We'll find you a place. It's a lot of fun.
Well, and also one of the things that works for me is because I'm out during the day and I'm in and out of the car, and I found it very frustrating trying to listen to your show when I'm doing that, because there'll just be something exciting is about to be talked about, or is
and then you're climbing out of the car.
And I have to climb out of the car. So I go to the pat.utahvalleylive.com.
And it's archived.
Everything's archived there. Yep. So what I do is when I'm at home working on the computer and working on ads or articles or layout or that sort of thing, I call up your show and listen to it. And when I have to run off and do something, you pause it, go off and do it, come back, turn it back on.
That's neat.
It's right there.
Thank you.
It's very useful.
Excellent commercial.
Like
Thank
you.
Well, you're
I've
hired.
got to listen to the Matt Ashdown interview and the Constitution interview, and I enjoyed both of those. So.
Mary Louise Zeller was one of my first guests on, and I think we were actually doing that at a different time of day, but she goes through the Kyone program as good as you're ever going to hear it. She's a professional athlete. She's been a taekwondo champion for years and years, and she has a background in biology. So she goes through the products one by one, the business opportunity. I'm assuming that's still available in the archives, and so look under Mary Louise Zeller. It would be back in, October, first part of October, I think. But we're going to bring that up and redo it, I think, so we can show that. All right, so we're making our way through this paper, and we've got a few more minutes. So, again, let's give your phone number out and how you can be reached, because people may have something they want to advertise. They don't have to have a storefront. They can have any kind of business, right, if it's legal and moral and that kind of thing.
We do ask for that.
Yeah,
one
absolutely.
of the things also just on the content of the paper, You were talking about earlier that it can be folded up, it can be stuck in your
it can your
purse,
briefcase or your purse,
thing.
yeah.
And our goal is to make sure that, you know, if you forget it and leave it there and you show up at church with it and somebody looks over and says, "What's that you got in your purse?" So they take it out and look at it. No one's going to be embarrassed by what you read there.
That's
so
right. Never
everything
happen.
in the paper is fun. It's family friendly. It's just great content, and we'd like to have you share it with anyone. So if you're looking to advertise with us, or you're looking to have the paper in your store to increase traffic, or you're just trying to get your story out, we've got the most inexpensive advertising available, and we'd like to have you here. Give me a call at 801-616-6288. You can also go to our website. It's UtahLocalPaper.com, and
that's an
you
easy
can read.
one.
And you can read the paper online. So if you're
really?
sick at home or
say that again,
homebound, it's UtahLocalPaper.com.
UtahLocalPaper.com. Oh, that's easy.
I haven't said that one enough to
it's coming.
Be used to it yet.
Turn to this right when you're there. Talk about this because this is, people don't all have a garage, but let's find out. What does this say? Storing lawnmower for the winter. See, this is just full of good housekeeping things.
Sure, there's helpful hints here, and this one, it's called "This is a Hammer," and it's to help the guys out too. It's not just the ladies, helping organize or find things to help it, but this one talks about
when should I mow the lawn the last time and so forth. Talk about that, because there's a lot of ladies that live alone. We don't always push our own lawnmower, but we should know what's going on. I should say a lot of women do push their own lawnmower too. So how do we handle this when we put away a particularly electric lawnmower or a gas running?
Somebody had written in and asked about, when do I mow the last time, and how do I prepare the mower? And so This is a Hammer Answers, and says the timing of the last mow varies from region to region, but generally it should take place shortly before the first hard frost. If the grass, and that's something that you can call any of the weather stations and say, what's the average time of the last frost around here, and then that would give you a date on the calendar that you would know. Usually just before that is when you'd want to mow the lawn, and it says if it doesn't need mowing, use your discretion as to whether to move it or to mow it, or to wait one more time, a little bit longer. They then talk about, this is something I didn't know, they talk about the lawnmower, that there's a preparation process that you ought to do, that you want to, if it's gas, you want to disconnect the spark plug, or if it's electric, you want to make sure it's unplugged. You take it and turn it up on the side, and you should take your hose and wash out all that grass that collects in there, because where it's green and as it's mowed, it collects in there, and this
clean out the blades,
clean out the blades, and clean out the mowing area, so that it doesn't wear it out faster. So you do that, and then you take just a can of WD-40 and kind of spray on the blade.
It's a good
idea.
And
that'll keep it from rusting. It's something that takes 5 minutes. You do it and you put it away, and
then you should cover it, shouldn't
ready
you?
To
so
go.
It doesn't.
You should put it in an area out of the weather, or put a cover
particularly
over it.
Here in Utah, and we haven't really had our first snow. We've had sprinkles, and it's up in Salt Lake, but in Utah County, we really haven't had much snow yet. And then there's a little tip down about birds, and I thought that was interesting. To keep birds away from freshly seeded spot, place a few wooden stakes around the area. Why?
Well, it says what you do is put it around the area, and then you tie an old piece of cloth to each stake. And for
so
a while,
it flutters?
It flutters, and that will keep the birds away. You know how skittish they are, and they'll jump and fly at everything. And now what you need to do is you need to go and change it every once in a while to something different. Maybe it'll be plastic one time, it'll be fabric the next time, or ribbons or something, because they get used to what
it is.
There.
You need to change it up.
But if you change it out, that should give them enough
I
time
love
for that
this
grass
paper.
to take root.
I just love this paper. Then there's a whole thing on collecting over here. Now, in the middle of all of this, we've got great ads, and I noticed your ads are growing. You're getting more every time.
We are.
And they're board games, bits, but this collecting, what do you know about that?
Collecting, this is an individual by the name of Larry Cox, and he's nationally syndicated, and people who are into collecting, as a lot of people are for a hobby, sometimes they, or they will find things, around the house that they've forgotten about, and it surfaces, and they go, wow, look at this. Here's one that says, I have collector plates in the MGM series honoring such stars as Mickey Rooney and Clark Gable. I also have the Honeymooners with Jackie Gleason and I Love Lucy featuring Lucille Ball. I have a friend who plans to sell them for me on eBay, but I thought maybe you could help me set a price for them. So, you find some old things like that, and you're wondering, gee, I wonder how much this is worth. What should I do with it? And the answer comes back from Larry. He says, before you list them on eBay, why don't you visit the site to see how much similar collector plates are bringing you? So, it's one of those kind of obvious things, but, I really don't need
this last one is, I have a Coca-Cola ice, what is this? I have a Coca-Cola ice chest. Any idea of value? I've got a 3-door ice chest out in our lobby that I paid $1,000 for, and it's now 50 years later. And I'm not giving that away. Somebody offered me $100, and I said, I don't think so. But if somebody offers the right price, because it is authentic. It was born in the early 1900s.
Well, and Larry gives the answer in here that there's a book out called The Coca-Cola Collectibles Price Guide.
Who would know that?
And it's published by Krause Books, and you get that, and you might find your
that's
your
an idea. Find out what the price is and somebody that might want it. And then as we still haven't gotten to I-15, and we're going to run out of time. You've got health bits, all kinds of things going on about health. There's the top 10 most popular jellies and jams. Who would know that? And that's good. And then there's a scramble. There, Junior Whirl, which is another crossword. In fact, a whole area for kids.
Yeah, this is a little corner that is there, and most of the places, about half of the places that our paper's at are restaurants, and we always go to the restaurants, and the kids aren't as able to control their appetite as maybe adults are, and they're distracted. They may not be enjoying the adult conversation. They are looking for something to do.
Give them a corner.
Pull out Kid Bits. There's a list of a dozen activities there.
That is really fun. I've noticed again they have this Nebo Chiropractic Clinic is having a fall food drive, and I would also like to know anyone that's has a drop gifts off for Santa Claus. We'd like to be able to announce that. So if anybody's collecting toys, any organization, if you run across them in your travels, let us know so we can advertise a drop-off point and what they might be looking for, and or who's adopted a family or a neighborhood of that kind of thing. So to share that with us.
And the doctor down here at the Mount Nebo Chiropractic Clinic, he's really got a great thing going, that if you will take in 5 cans of food, that of course will then go on into the food bank to help people out that are having trouble this time of year. And
I'm just reading this. This is
you get free service.
New patient free therapy with donation of 5 cans of food. Good grief, how easy is that?
Yeah. So
current patients get free health screening or stress test with a donation of 5 cans of food.
Yeah.
That's a good guy.
Yeah, if you're thinking that, boy, I can't afford to have that chiropractic work I need, but I know I need it. Here's a place to go, the Mount Nebo Chiropractic Clinic in Payson, and for 5 cans of food, you can get your treatment taken care of.
That is a great deal. There's also a Pet Bits. I know many of you have pets in our listening audience and our viewing audience, and winter's rough on them, and we're aware of that, particularly here in the cold area. And so there's some pet bits, and that goes on for a big section there, about a 5x7. Lots of information there. And then Moments in Time, the History Channel. Mm-hmm. What do you know about that?
This we publish this each week, and the information comes from the History Channel. And what they do is they take the dates within the time frame and just give interesting information about it. We have down here on November 28th, 1582, William Shakespeare, 18, and Anne Hathaway, 26, paid a £40 bond for their marriage license in Stratford-upon-Avon. Avon. 6 months later, Anne gave birth to their daughter, Susanna, and 2 years later to twins. So there's
so good stuff. It's got a number of little things all the way through the month of things that happened on different days,
everything,
different times. I love that. And there's a veterans post.
There are.
And I thought this was really interesting. Inspector General is on our side, and thank goodness somebody takes time to honor them. I noticed I've seen more on television about honoring our heroes, past and present, and I'm grateful for that.
Well, and we want to point out that just anyone that would actually make the self-sacrifice, because there is a huge sacrifice, and I'm not talking about dying on the battlefield or being extremely wounded.
Just leaving your
talking
family.
About just the sacrifice the family makes, the children make, the spouse makes, is incredible, and they do that just so that we all can be free and enjoy this amazing country that we live in. So what we do is we provide this little section called Veterans Post, and it's specifically for veterans. It gives updates on the veterans' benefits. And sometimes there's other things, but primarily that's what's in there.
And thank goodness for that. These articles are everyone worth reading, and you can read this whole paper in an hour or less and really enjoy it. Now we made our way to the back page in I-15, which is where I started. So tell me something startling that we should know this week about where we can't drive or should drive or whatever.
Well,
but you list by community. You start in Provo, and it goes Spanish Fork, Santaquin, Payson, Pleasant Grove, just different things that are happening, not just about the freeway, but what's going on in the community. You want to mention a few of those? We've got about 3 minutes.
All right. The biggest one that happened on I-15 was that the West Center reopened again, and I, like you, was surprised to know that until I was looking for the information to include in here. I had no idea. I thought that was just going to be closed forever.
I did too. So that's back open. Thank goodness for that.
And they keep moving the road around.
Yeah, you do have to look, but that's on University Avenue, North University Avenue, a mess out there.
It's true,
right,
but on
I-15,
they keep moving the lanes around as they continue their work. They're supposedly about halfway done. A year from now, they're supposed to be completely done. But
it's when they split it. When you're going north,
right,
and you've got two choices, and you're already in the choice lane, and you're on the right side, you're going to get off, or you're not going to. You might be able to, but if you're on that inside lane when it splits, you're not going to get off when you thought you may never get. You will be in Alaska.
Well, one of the things that you can do is we have it here in the paper. There is the udot.utah.gov, and you go to that site, and they have YouTube videos that will show you how to manage those lanes.
Oh, so, that's interesting.
And that helped me out a lot, because I read the descriptions, but I had no idea what it was they were doing there through the Orem section, where they split the lanes where you're talking about. And once they explained it to me, it was very easy. You still have to keep in mind,
have to think about it.
Up on Orem, but you knew then which lane to get into and where it was going to take you.
I do want to mention in the Spanish Fork community, in this paper, there are all kinds of things listed where there are going to be Christmas lights, dinners. Spanish Fork invites you to the 19th Annual Festival of Lights beginning Thanksgiving night and gives that information. Then we get into Springville news, and there's election results. November City Source newsletter, blah, 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 online. You can find that. Light parade in Santaquin. There's also a kids' night out in Santaquin. You can read about all this, and down in the Payson News, they've got snow removal and when that's going to be starting. Of course, it will snow, but at least where it's going to happen. And then Pleasant Grove Orchestra and Choir rehearsal for the Messiah. I mean, there's just a lot of good information in here. Roger, thank you so much for being with me. Appreciate your being here.
It.
Love your newspaper to pieces. Let's give out your phone number again where people can get it in their shop or order it or however.
Love to talk to you out there. Please give me a call at 801-616-6288.
Thank you again. And thank you for being with us. And again, my thanks to the Kyani people for the wonderful product, the integrity of the company. It has served me well and many of my friends. And if you would like to be part of what we're doing in Kyani, feel better, look better, and just get better all through your whole day and your whole life, then please call me, 801-362-9552, 801-362-9552. Have a great, great day and be safe.